Lynette is in North Holland.
Hello.
Lynette, good evening.
Hi.
How can I help you?
I just wanted to find out, I was made redundant in July and I appealed it. The first appeal was upheld for the company, but I appealed that and they upheld it for me. So I put in an email, like, what I would like to happen. How do I go further forward if they're refusing?
Okay, I don't quite understand what you're asking me, Lynette. So you were selected for redundancy.
Yeah.
Just give me an idea what sort of job you do. Don't name your employer.
I'm a chef.
Okay. You were selected for redundancy. You appealed to redundancy and were unsuccessful. You appealed a second time and your appeal was allowed. Presumably that means they either reinstate you or they go through a redundancy process again because they accept the process was unfair, and following a second redundancy process, they make an entirely fresh decision. Which route did they go down? Reinstating you or going through a redundancy process again?
Neither.
So what have they said is the outcome from the second appeal?
They want to give me 10 weeks' pay.
Right. So on what basis did they allow the appeal? What was the fault that they accepted they had committed?
They said that they sent me invitations for consultations, which they didn't. They said that all the consultations were on my personal file before the consultations even started. So all the answers that were on there, I didn't give.
Sorry, I don't understand, Lynette. Just
so
say that
you
again.
have the consultation process. I only had one consultation, but there was 7 consultation notes on my personal file.
So, in other words, they invented records for 6 consultation meetings that didn't take place.
Yeah.
And and the company has accepted that those were invented notes.
I have it in the email, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so, rather than reinstating you, they've offered you 10 weeks' pay as compensation.
Yeah, well, I said I didn't want to be reinstated because I felt uncomfortable at the way I would have to take a job.
So reinstatements off the table. So now it's just about money, isn't it, Lynette?
Yeah.
Right. How much do you want?
Originally, I said a year's salary, but I would accept 6 months' salary.
Right. If they'd followed a fair procedure, would you have been made redundant anyway? If they hadn't faked these notes, did your job have to go?
Yes.
Right. So the job was genuinely abolished. It's just that the procedure was really dodgy.
Yeah, the procedure
if they'd had several meetings with you, rather than pretending they had several meetings with you, the outcome would have been the same. Yes.
I don't think so. No.
Well, I thought you said you accept your job was genuinely redundant, so the outcome would have been the same. You still would have been out of a job.
The company said that there is other jobs at my level within the company.
Right, so there were alternative jobs available, which they should have offered you, but they didn't.
No. Yeah.
I understand you don't want to go back to the same role because you don't like that manager, but why wouldn't you then accept an alternate job if there was one available?
I tried. I produced jobs that I'd found myself on their site and jobs on other sites that are linked to their company.
Okay, so I think the position is this, Lynette. It sounds like you have a good unfair dismissal claim. I'm struggling to understand. Oh, by the way, have you worked for more than 2 years for this company?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm struggling to understand quite how much compensation you'd get, because on the one hand, you seem to be saying your job would have gone anyway, but you might have got other alternative employment. If you would have got other alternative employment, you'll get more than 10 weeks compensation. If you wouldn't have got another alternative job, if you weren't qualified for it or there were better qualified people for those alternate jobs, you won't get 10 weeks compensation. You'll get a few weeks compensation, and 10 weeks is a good offer. I don't know which one is the result that a tribunal would say was the case, whether you would have got alternative employment had they put you through a fair process. It's a gamble, Lynette. You have to make a decision whether you think the company will be able to persuade a tribunal that you wouldn't have got alternative employment. If the company can persuade the tribunal you wouldn't have got alternative employment had you been through a fair procedure, you should take the 10 weeks. If you think the company wouldn't be able to prove that, go to tribunal, fight it, you might get a lot more.